Haste Arcade, the main concept there is that we are giving gamers a new way to engage with games and driving like more incentive to continue playing specifically like hyper casual games after the initial fun wears off. And we're doing that through micropayments, through rewarding people for making leaderboards within these games. Take It is an NFT auction platform. That's something that, again, we use HandCash, and in part of that we use asset layer as well. But basically the concept there, which I'll get into more details, was how do you create, a price discovery tool for these NFT markets? And then is there a way to make it a win-win for everyone involved? So maybe I don't get the NFT I wanted. Is there still a way that I can benefit from that? So I'll touch on that as well. Got a little, you gonna click that? Got a little video here that's gonna describe the arcade.
Imagine going to your local arcade, inserting a quarter into the game, and posting a high score on the leaderboard. And then, everyone who comes after you and fails to beat your high score, you get a portion of their quarter every time. Now imagine placing that high score on a global leaderboard where millions of daily players are fighting for your top spot. This is a game changer. This is Haste Arcade. Jump in right now and play across multiple modern arcade-style games, earning cash instantly deposited to your HandCash wallet. Let's introduce player cards, the world's first output NFT. You can mint your own and gather others, from friends to top players. For any player card you hold, you earn a portion of each gameplay output. This is a Haste token. Earn them daily just for playing. They can be used to purchase things like prizes, player cards, and more. Trade them on exchanges, or simply redeem them for cash. This is the next gen of gaming. Play, earn, grow on Haste Arcade.
So we hit on three things there. Micropayments, obviously, for making a leaderboard. The player cards, which the concept behind that, my background, I was in baseball before the entrepreneur world grabbed a hold of me. And basically we thought it would be cool if, I could have a card where I had my own stats, my game plays, how much money I spent, but can you give this some type of utility? And the utility we figured was, okay, if I hold this card, make it some type of like rebate, right? So you get 10% back on your gameplay spend. And then the token, think about going to a classic arcade, you play the games, you get tickets that you can go and then redeem at the prize board for a stuffed animal or a remote control car or something like that. Same concept. It wasn't an ICO. We weren't like out there, shilling tokens trying to raise money. It was just something that you can earn through playing in the arcade. So the gaming industry, which is what the arcade is currently focused on, specifically the hyper casual gaming industry, but overall $300 billion market. That's more than film and music combined. And then games such as like League of Legends, their actual championship in 2021 got more views than the Super Bowl did that year. So massive market. You've got game developers, you've got gamers. On the game developer side, you have your AAA studios, which are making games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, these titles that you'll see huge commercials for, $100 million budgets. And then you've got the independent game developers, the smaller studios. And that's who we're really focused on right now. And the reason being is that only about 5% of any game is actually ever going to turn a profit. And I'm going to address in the following slides why that is and what we're doing to solve that problem. And then on the gamers, they say 3 billion people around the world, so about a little bit more than a third of the population claims to be a gamer of some sort. So the challenges that we talked about. In the hyper-casual gaming space, you've got basically 3 different ways that you can monetize your game. And we're talking about games right now that take 2 or 3 minutes to play. Maybe you're doing it while you're getting on an airplane and you're about to take off, or you're on like a subway going to work, something like that. You're basically either monetizing those users through advertisements, which who here enjoys like watching the 5-second ad every time you go watch a YouTube video? Anybody? I had somebody, yeah, see, there's always one who's, yeah, boo them, shame. But the problem with that is, right, before you can even start monetizing that as a game developer, you've got to go and build a huge user following. So what most of these indie game studios are doing is they'll develop 100 really simple games like a Flappy Birds or whatever. They'll market the hell out of them. They'll spend a bunch of money on Facebook ads or Instagram ads and hope that one of them hits big and gets 1 million+ users so that they can then run ads through that. If that doesn't hit, then it's just a complete loss, right? So we go back to only about 5% of games ever actually end up turning a profit. That's the most common way these hyper casual games are getting monetized. The other ones would be the in-game purchases. So, you can start playing the game for free, but maybe, okay, I beat level 1 to go to level 2, I have to buy it. That's inconvenient for the user as well. And then the last, this is going to be more of the traditional like AAA type games. You've got a large upfront cost, right? I think games nowadays are like $70 if you want the new Madden or the new FIFA game. And what you're doing there is you're cutting out, we said there's 3 billion gamers. Not everyone lives in the United States, right? Like $70 for a video game is a lot of money if you don't actually have, that type of income to support that. So the business models are a huge problem right now in the gaming industry. And these are creating, like we kind of discussed, the barriers of entry for the gamers. Other than her, nobody really likes advertisements in their games. Not being able to pay that large upfront cost. And then if you haven't actually played the game before, are you going to pay for something that you don't know if it's going to be a good game? Like my example is always, there was a game that came out, it was by the same studio that had built a game that I really liked. I spent my $60, and after the first 5 minutes, I was just like, this is the worst. Like, I'm so pissed that I just wasted my money on this, and I had no way to get it back or to recoup any of that. So bringing it back to the hyper casual games though, the real issue is the life expectancy for these games, how long you're actually going to play them. There's no real incentive for the customer to continue playing these games after the initial fun has worn off. Therefore, the game developer's revenue is extremely limited in terms of how much they can be making. So what is our impact? What are we doing? Well, we use micropayments. So you can, number one, play any of our games for free. You can practice on them. But then you can start playing for 1 cent, 10 cents, $1, $10, $100, whatever your spending appetite is. But we're really reducing the barrier of entry, at least in our opinion, to play these hyper casual games. You're not having to deal with advertisements. You can purchase things within the game collectibles, which we can talk about, but you don't have to do that to keep playing the game. It's basically just, if I only want to spend a penny to play this game, boom, that's all I have to spend. And like Alex was saying, you get on that leaderboard, you're talking about, you can split a penny, hundreds of ways now, which in my opinion is really cool and revolutionary. And that's basically what, this particular BSV blockchain enables. The game collectibles, that would be stuff, in-game NFTs, not things that give you like an advantage over other gamers. We're not big fans of that, but more things that like, they just aesthetically pleasing, right? Like maybe there's a new skin that I want my character to have. I buy it, I use it, then another one comes out, I can sell the one that I have, go purchase that new skin. Cool ways for game developers to monetize through that. And then the last bit would be if you're, an independent game developer, for you to go and market a game on your own versus to come to our platform where we already have a dedicated user base, it seems to me like that would make more sense. Like I said, the incentive mechanism, got the low barrier to entry, there's no ads, and then these play and earned incentives are definitely keeping people around longer. And the comparisons I have for that, so our top funnel, right? We're running Google ads, we're running Facebook ads, trying to get people to notice this arcade. We're spending about 5 cents per click right now, which compared to average traditional hyper casual games are at $1.06. It does cost us a little bit more to convert a customer, but that last stat down there, the revenue per user per game in our arcade is $1.70 per month compared to 13 cents in terms of revenue that typical traditional hyper casual games are generating from their users. So we think that's a really encouraging sign that people are staying around and playing much more because of these incentive mechanisms. So moving on to Take It, and then I'm going to link the two at the end if I have enough time here. But Take It is an NFT platform, an auction site, where we've created basically a win-win, which I will get into. So brief overview of the NFT industry. It's projected to be $200 billion by 2030. There's a big downtick last year, which I think we're all pretty aware of. A stat that I didn't know, and don't quote me on this, but it was in one of the articles I was reading, is that the average NFT purchaser is spending about $70, which would probably make sense since most of these NFTs are on, Ethereum blockchain or chains where the fees are pretty expensive to mint something. But the most common NFTs out there right now are art, gaming, utilities, which is what I'll tap into as well, and then sports memorabilia has been pretty successful. So the challenges. The costs on both sides, whether you're wanting to create your own NFT or you're wanting to purchase an NFT, with these chains like Ethereum, it's just really expensive. Like it's not easy for someone. I was looking at, I don't know if you guys are familiar with BTC ordinals, but I was looking at that a couple of days ago. It was like $100 just to inscribe, a 1000 by 1000 pixel JPEG. That's not something that a lot of people can get into. Just like the traditional casual gaming industry where you're paying $70, for a AAA title. This guy on the right here, this Bored Ape Yacht Club, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that collection, but that's the most expensive one that ever sold. 852 Ethereum at the time, which is $3.4 million. Pretty small market for that NFT. But to mint that entire collection, it costs thousands of dollars in minting fees. So you have this problem from all this, which is really like price discovery. And that's what we were trying to solve with Take It. It's like, why are these things being valued so much? How do you actually have like a base for what this price should be? So with Take It, we have affordable minting costs. And that's not because of our platform. That's just because of the BSV blockchain. But what that enables is much more participation. You can price NFTs at a much lower cost. So the one that I have there on the left, Josh Hensley is going to know this one real well. But basically, it's called Color Changing Trees. And that particular NFT started, I believe it is either 1 cent or 3 cents. And it got bid all the way up to $13.36, which I ended up winning. And I was texting Josh like while it was going on because he kept taking it back and forth from me. It's like, dude, this one's mine. But basically, the way that this platform works, you list an NFT as a creator, let's say $1. I come and I take that NFT. So it's in my possession, but now a timer has started. You've got 48 hours before that I have to hold on to it for it to actually become mine. Josh comes and takes it from me. Well, after I took it, the price increased by 30%. So I pay my $1. It's now $1.30. Josh takes it from me. I get my $1 back, plus I get 6% of the 30% additional fee that he paid once he took it from me. So I actually just made a profit by bidding on that NFT. So what this does is it incentivizes bidders to continue bidding if they're interested in the NFT. So I can't lose. Like, I was never going to let Josh win that NFT. I would have bid that thing up to $1,000. He could have made a lot of money on that. But at the end of the day, I'm either getting the NFT I want or I'm guaranteed to make a profit on my last bid. So that is how the Take It model works. And, the rest of it, the minting fees being extremely cheap, the ability to set the prices very low, that's a testament to BSV. Every drop that's submitted on Take It is voted on by a community. So you basically can submit your collection of whatever you want. This particular collection happened to be created by a 12-year-old, and the people in the community love that, so it got voted up like right away. But it's not just like, oh, I'm some famous person, I'm just going to throw my thing up there and people are going to buy it. Like, no, people have to actually vote on it. It's a very democratic process. So the last bit is linking the physical and digital world. So we have Take It, which I brought this hat here. You can see on the left. It was actually an NFT that was auctioned off. But I got the physical version of that. And then within this game on the left here, if you guys can see, it's called Monster Bombs. The screen's a little dark, but my player is actually wearing my NFT. So there have been people in the past who have sold a physical good and you get like an NFT with it. But what can you really do with that NFT? Well, with us, because we have the arcade, we can actually equip that NFT within games. So there were 6 different hats. These things you could bid, you could mint them on their own. They're like different rarities and whatnot. This one was my favorite. But I just thought, I hadn't seen that before, where I was actually purchasing a physical good, getting an NFT that I could actually use in real time with it. Overall platform adoption, we have over 15,000 accounts at this point. 5,000 of them have actually gone on to spend money in the arcade or on Take It. About 1,500 monthly active users, about 200 daily active users. The majority of those are coming from the arcade. The Take It platform has over 1,300 unique people who have actually bid on something or taken something. I guess the only other aspect that I haven't hit on so far would be that within the arcade, we have 14 games. We have a software developer kit that basically allows third-party game developers, which is who we're trying to target with that. They can take our leaderboard payout structure, plug it into either a game they've already developed or a game that they're working on, and basically have this new revenue model built right into their game. So half the games in the arcade right now have been built by us, half have been built by third-party game developers. And our hope for the future is that we can attract way more game developers, do things like host game dev competitions, work with bigger studios. But obviously, we think we need a lot more users before that's going to be the case. Our roadmap for the arcade side of things, it's new games. It's a new game mode, tournament mode, kind of taking a page out of online poker, giving that same type of platform to our hyper casual games. And then a lot of, like Alex was kind of hitting on this year, really trying to ramp up marketing and whatnot to a mainstream audience, making sure that everything is in place in terms of like onboarding, making it extremely easy. So like Alex was saying, they don't have to like leave the app they're in, go download a wallet, come back to the app and re-sign in and all that stuff, cleaning up that entire process. And then on the take it side, doing more things like what we did with this Haste hat, more integrations with our actual games, doing game collectibles, giving artists a new way to basically monetize by partnering with us, submitting their own game collections. And then the last bit would be something that a lot of the community has been asking for would be airdrops. So you purchase an NFT. If you're a holder of this NFT in the future, we'll airdrop you something else. These are just going to be screenshots of the different games and whatnot, but that's basically it.
Well, let's give it up for Joe to Pinto, everyone. So we have time for 1 or 2 questions right now. Any questions for Joe?
With the player cards, do you get to like buy one of the players? Can you buy a different player and get the revenue of them?
Yeah, that's the point of holding that. So like if you create a player card and I go and I see, oh dang, Kevin plays a lot. Like he plays a lot. I'm going to buy his card. Now you can set the price. You could set, and some people have for like $1 million, right? Like I think our biggest spenders spent $15,000 in the arcade. They have a player card for like $999,000. I go and buy yours. I say, Kevin's spending a lot of money. Over the course of time, am I going to recoup, whatever price you set through the 10% that I'm going to earn every time you play? We are going to make some adjustments to that in the near future where you're going to be able to buy like packs of player cards. So you'll automatically get one if you join the arcade, but don't tell anybody about that. That's kind of a secret.
Cool. Tim, right here. Just wait 1 second until you get a mic. Oh, sorry. Yeah, over here in the blue suit. Right there.
Just one quick question on the model you had for Take It. So that 6%, does that happen every incremental bid? And then I guess like the proceeds to the seller are basically like 80% on the dollar or something? Is that?
Yeah. It's every single subsequent take, right? It's going to increase by 30%. Whoever bid before is going to get 6%. The original artist is going to get a percentage. The platform is going to get a small percentage, and it gets split amongst like those 3 parties. Yep.
So then the artist, I guess that's what I was wondering, is like versus the typical model, which I don't know, does the artist get effectively much closer to 100%, or are they getting comparable? Would they have a disincentive to use this because so much is getting taken away in the rake?
What we recommend to the artist is set your original price at what you're wanting to make, because you're going to get, 97.5% of that very first take. After that, you're only going to get between 5 and 10% of every subsequent take as the artist.
Okay. Well, Joe, thank you very much. Let's give
Thanks.
a hand.